Hi, everyone. So this is M2, so Module 2, Topic 2 review. We're starting with number 1. And again, feel free to jump around and to what the problems that you want. I'm going to do this in numerical order. Again, if you have not tried these by yourself, make sure you do them first and then look at this video. Or if you're like, really, I have no clue, then look at a couple of them and then try them by yourselves. Okay. All right. Number 1. And over here on the right, if you've noticed, I wrote down the general steps to solving equations. And these are just general steps. They're not like every single problem is going to be solved exactly this way. The only way you're going to know that is the more you do them, the more you'll, know what to do. You got to actually try doing a lot of these problems. Okay, because every situation is a little bit different. But in general, this is what you're going to do. So first is, if you have parentheses, get rid of them. And the way you get rid of them is by distributing. The other way you can get rid of them is by dividing it out, but I would only recommend doing that if the other side is divisible by the number that you're dividing. Number 2, then you would combine like terms if you have any, and those like terms have to be on the same side, right? And then you're going to get the x's together, right? Either by adding or subtracting those x's, and then you're going to get rid of the plus or minus, and then get rid of the multiply or divide. And or divide, whichever one that you have. So if you take a look at this left one, we don't have any parentheses. So yep, that's good. Then we're going, and we don't have any like terms. On the left-hand side, there's a 1 plus of 5x. There's nothing to combine. So now we have to get the x's together. So I am going to bring this to the right because I know that if I subtract 5x from 6x, that will be still positive. If I do it the other way, then I'm going to get a negative number. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe do some, let's see if I could color coordinate these. Darn it, it's not working. All right, so this is going to be this color, and getting our x's together, that will be a different color. If I can get there. Apparently I am having issues. Okay, and that's going to be, let's make that green. Right, so if you also have colors as well, I would get your colors out. And this is going to be, let's say, orange. And then the last one is going to be, oh, that's too many. Let's see if we can do it this way. So this is going to be light. Let's do light blue. All right, so now, so we don't have that. We don't have a combined like term, so we're going to go green. And we're going to get, so we're going to go minus 5x, minus 5x. All right. And then we're going to get our answer of 1 is equal to x plus 9. And if you notice, all of these, so now we have the x by its like here, right? And then it says get rid of the plus or minus. So that's what we're going to do. That is orange. So we're going to be like minus 9, minus 1 minus 9 is negative 8 is equal to x. And if you notice here, I don't have to get rid of the multiply or divide because there's nothing to get rid of. So this is my answer just like this, x equal to negative 8. Boom, just like that. All right, so moving on to the next one. So here, distribute, we don't have any parentheses to distribute, so skip. Next one, combine like terms. We actually have some like terms to combine. Notice the one on the right. So I'm gonna be like, so negative 8x plus 5. Nothing to combine there, so we're just going to leave it like that. And this is going to be negative 8x plus 2, because negative 2x minus 6x is going to be negative 8x. And then, so that's done. Oh, oops. Did you guys notice that I did it on the wrong color? Yikes. All right, and then now, I was like, that's not that color. We're going to get the x's together. Okay, so we're just going to add 8x to both sides. And if you see what I see here, wait a minute. What do you notice? My negative 8x plus 8x, there's no more x's. So all I have left is 5. But my x's also cancel out on the right. So I get 2. Okay, so now 5 is equal to 2. That's not true. So whenever the x's cancel out like that, and you get some equation that is not true, like 5 is definitely not equal to 2, right? you would just say, when you get to this point, you would say no solution. There's actually no solution to this problem. This problem has no answer. Because if you notice, if it's negative 8x, when whatever that is, and we're going to add 5 to it, it will never be the same as the same negative 8x, and we add 2 to it instead. They're never going to be equal, right? So here we just get no solution. It's a problem that has no answer. All right, moving on down here. Let me see if I can just take this general steps here with us. Bring it down right about here. There we go. See, now it can come with us. Come follow us. All right, so here, number 1, distribute. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to distribute this. So 3 times 3x is 9x, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Copy the rest of it down. Anything that we're not using, we're just going to copy down. All right. Then it says combining the like terms, if any. We do not have any like terms on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So we're going to skip to number 3, which is get the x's together. So I always take the smaller one and then move it to the other side, just because I don't like dealing with negative numbers. It usually saves me a little step sometimes. So here we go. So 9x minus 7x is 2x plus 3 is equal to 7's cancel out, and we just have 3. And then it says get rid of the plus or minus. So that's what we're going to do. That's in orange. So minus 3 minus 3. So we're going to get the answer of 2x is equal to 3 minus 3 is 0. Remember. Okay, I don't have room, so I'm just going to copy this down right here. And some of you guys may be like, oh, wait, that means no solution, right? Nope, there's definitely a solution. Let me make that equal sign a little bit better. The equal sign is not that great. And then here, again, we're going to get rid of the multiplier divide. In this case, we're getting rid of the multiply, because the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2, right? And our x is just 0. And that's a solution. The fact that x is equal to 0 is a solution, because 0 is a number, right? It is a number. So here it is. And our solution is just that it's 0. Not a very interesting number, but it is definitely a solution. Okay. So there we go. And again, most of these equations will have one solution. So this is my one solution. I don't have to state that I have only one solution. I just say what the solution is, which is 0. All right. And then here we go. We're going to do this one. Again, we're going to distribute to get rid of the parentheses. It's in blue. Be 10 plus 2a is equal to parentheses negative times the negative is positive. Negative times this negative is positive. There we go. We don't have any like terms to combine, so we're going to leave that. Going to go straight to getting the a's together, right? So I know here it says x's, but maybe I should just say variable, right? Variable. Whatever it is. So if it's an x or an a or an m or a b or a q, whatever, that's what we're going to put together. So in this case, my 2 is smaller, so I'm just going to go minus 2a on both sides. Okay. And then I'm going to, so what we have is 10 is equal to just a plus 8, right? Because if I did it on the other side, if I just subtracted 3a on both sides, then what would have happened? I would have had a negative a. Then I would have to deal with the negative. See what I mean? Saves us a step. All right, and then we go straight to this one, get rid of the plus or minus. In this case, we have a plus. The way we get rid of that is by the minus. So subtract 8 on both sides. And so we get 2 is equal to a, or we like to say a is equal to 2. Right, we always just make sure that the a is on the left-hand side. All right, moving on. Here we go. We got parentheses here, so we're going to figure that one out. So that is definitely blue. So negative 5a minus 2 is equal to negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, plus negative 2 times 3a is negative 6a. If you wrote down a minus instead, that's fine. Okay, that's totally fine. I just wrote down a plus because I saw a plus. I didn't want to erase it. I'm trying to save time here. All right, and so we have that. And now combine like terms, if any, and we happen to have some like terms that we need to combine. So we're going to be like negative 5a minus 2 is equal to these two guys. So it's going to be negative 2. Negative 6a minus or plus a is going to be minus 5a. See, I did it here. If you want to put a plus negative, you totally can. Now we're going to get our variables together. So here I'm going to just add 5/8 on both sides. And notice both cancel out. And what do we get? We get -2 is equal to -2. Now, is this true? Yeah, that's totally true, right? This is true. So this means infinitely many solutions. That means pretty much any number for A will work. So that's why we call it infinitely many solutions. Or infinite solutions, you can say that as well. I'm just used to saying infinitely many solutions. I'm just saying. Okay, so that would be, this is our answer. So whenever the x's cancel out, or x's meaning the variables cancel out, and you get a true statement, then you can put any number in for A and it will work. Like any number will work. Even a fraction, decimal, negative number, doesn't matter. It will work, right? If you don't believe me, try it out. But if you get something like this where it does not equal, like the resulting equation is not actually equal to each other, that would be no solution. Okay, so both ways, when the x's just all cancel out, you would have to say that's either no solution or infinitely many solutions. Now, moving on to the next. We have parentheses here, so we got to distribute that. So -21 minus 15m is equal to 27 plus m. Now, what we're going to do here, combine like terms of any, no like terms. And then we're going to go to the next one, get the variables together. And I notice that this is a -15, and this one is a plus. So I'm just going to add 15 to both sides so I can keep everything positive. A little bit of planning here going on. So that cancels out. And what do we have left is just the -21 is equal to 27 plus 16m. And then we're going to get rid of the plus or minus. So notice we're going to go on the side of where the variable is, right? That's what we're looking for. Ultimately, what you want to get rid of is you want to get rid of everything and just leave the m by itself. So we're going to subtract 27 on both sides. And then we're going to get -21 minus 27 is -48 is equal to 16m. And then again, so we get to the last one where it says divide. Get rid of the multiplier divide, and we have a multiply. So we're going to divide both sides by 16. All right. And so we get m is equal to -48 over 16. And we do need to simplify that. Always get in the habit of simplifying. Do you know how many times 16 goes into 48? And if you didn't know, let's say we didn't know, then we're like, okay, I know 2 goes into both of them, right? So 2 goes into 48 24 times. And 2 goes into 16 8 times. We're like, ooh, I know how to do this. So 8 goes into 24 3 times. So this answer is going to be -3. So ultimately, my answer is just going to be m is equal to -3. Ta-da! So always make sure you simplify that. You could also do that on a calculator, but we could just do it in our heads for now. All right, so there's solving equations, and then here we have rewrite x, the equation for x. So here we have the equation in slope-intercept form, and we're going to just change this to where instead of y equals, we want x equals. So at the very end, we want x equals. Okay. So this is literally just like pretty much like this, except we're not going to have any parentheses, and we're not going to have like terms. We only have one of the variables, you know, the x is only in one place, so we're good. We're going to just go straight to get rid of the plus or minus and then get rid of the multiply divide. Okay. So we're going to go straight there. So we're going to subtract 10 on both sides. And then you're going to get y minus 10, since we can't really combine those, is equal to 3 over 5x. And then we're going to get rid of this multiply by 3/5, which is, how do we do that? Multiply by the reciprocal, so multiply by, oops, that's not the reciprocal, 5 over 3. And again, we're going to multiply by 5 over 3. Okay, so here we go. This is what we're going to do. So now we're going to just distribute this. All right, so 5 times y is 5y over 3 minus 5 times 10, because I can't divide, 3 does not go to 10 evenly, so 5 times 10, which is 50 over 3 is equal to x. Remember, the 3 and the 5 all cancel out. So this is just going to be 5 over 3y minus 50 over 3. All right. The other way, I'll show you a different way to do it, but this is one way to do it. Okay. So let's take a look at number 8. Okay, we're going to do 8 the same way we did number 7. Okay, and for number 9 and 10, I'll show you a different way to do that. But it's the same thing. We just break down the steps a little bit. Okay, so again, we're going to add 8 to both sides. We're getting rid of the plus or minus, just like how we did above. It's all related. And then we get y plus 8 is equal to negative 1/2 x. And again, we want to get rid of that negative 1/2 x, or just the negative 1/2, by multiplying this by negative 2 over 1. Or what we can just say is just negative 2, because negative 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2, right? So this is going to be that black. So negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. And this is just equal to x. So we're going to rewrite this so that the x is on the left, and we get x is equal to negative y minus 16. Just like that. This one's not as weird looking as the other one, just because our denominator is just a 1. So which kind of is nice. So now, like I said, I'm going to show you the other way to do it for number 9. So what I do sometimes, I just multiply, or well, you can start with the same thing. You can just subtract 1 on both sides. This is fine. And then be like y minus 1 is equal to negative 3 over 10x. So what you can do is you can multiply. I'm going to use a different color here. We're going to multiply everything. Remember how I showed you to get rid of fractions, right? We're going to multiply everything by whatever the denominator is. We're going to multiply the left and the right by 10. Okay. And then when we do that, we're going to get 10 times y, which is 10y. 10 times 1, which is, so minus 10, is equal to, now the 10s cancel out on the right, right? And so all we have left is negative 3x. Now I'm going to multiply by negative 3. I mean, not multiply, divide. You didn't hear that. So we're going to divide by negative 3. All right, so we get our answer of x is equal to, I'm going to divide both of these. It's going to be negative 10 over 3. And notice that that negative is no longer with the 3. It's just on the outside of this fraction. And that's what you want. You don't want to leave the negatives on the bottom. X, nope, just kidding, not x. I meant y. And then negative 10 divided by negative 3, it's going to be positive 10 over 3. And please leave this in improper fraction. We're just going to leave it like that. Okay. That's what you can do. So we'll do it again here. I'm going to add 3 on both sides. And we get y plus 3 is equal to negative 5 over 2x. And again, we're just going to get rid of the denominator because we don't want fractions. But like these fractions are a little bit crazy. We're going to multiply everything by 2, right? Because that's what this denominator is. And you're going to get 2y plus 6, because 2 times 3 is 6, is equal to, the 2's cancel out here on the right, and we just get negative 5x. And now how do you get rid of that negative 5? He's DVD'd. So divide by negative 5. So here we get x is equal to 2 over negative 5. So negative 2/5 x. And then 6 over 5 is going to be minus 6 over 5. Remember, the top is positive, the bottom is negative. Therefore, it's going to be a minus or a negative, whichever way you want to say that. Right? And if you notice here, I did another mistake. I keep on wanting to put x here, and I can't do that. Darn it. Did you guys notice that? Why? So make sure on the test that you make sure that those are y's and you don't have 2 x's like I just did. Bad days. All right. Now here we're going to go the opposite direction. So instead of Now we have it in general form, i.e. standard form, and we're going to change it to the slope-intercept form, which means we're going to solve for y. Okay, so now we want y by itself. So again, it's going to be the same steps as we did before. We're literally just taking get rid of the plus or minus, and then get rid of the multiply divide. That's what we're going to do. It's exactly those two steps. So again, we're wanting to solve for y. So we're going to get rid of the add and subtract, which is our negative 3x, because we want to get rid of the whole thing, not just the 3. So then all we have left is y is equal to negative 3x minus 7. And in general, we always put the variables first. So that's why I put the negative 3x first, and then our constant. Okay? And there's nothing, the y is already by itself. So this is our answer. Yay, see, easy. Be like, but wait, there's got to be more. Yes, there is. And here we go. So again, here we have the 6x that we don't want. So we're going to subtract it out. And we're going to get negative 13y is equal to negative 6x plus 16. And then all we're going to do is get rid of that divide, this multiply by dividing. So divide by negative 13, divide by negative 13. And then we're going to write this as y is equal to, remember we're going to divide them into both, the negative 13 into both. So that's going to be 6 over 13, because the negatives cancel out, x, then minus, because positive divided by negative is negative, 16 over 3. I mean 13. Did I say 3? Okay. So again, those two steps, we're just using those last two steps there. Right, so again, we're going to be subtracting 3x on both sides. And we get negative 8y is equal to negative 3x minus 64. Now we're going to divide by negative 8. If you want to do it like this, where you're dividing every single term by negative 8, you can do that as well. I've seen that before. Some people write it like this, that's fine. That means you're just distributing both of them by negative 8 anyways, because that's what we did here. And that's fine. You can kind of save yourself a little bit of step that way. And so y is equal to, that is going to be positive, right? So it's 3 over 8x, and that's also going to be positive. And we know that 8 goes into 64 evenly. And in this case, it's just 8. So again, if you can simplify, please simplify. But if you notice right here, like 16 over 13, there's nothing to simplify by. So here, this is our answer. And again, one more time. Get rid of the 5x. Minus 5x, and we're going to write this y is equal to negative 5x plus 7. Oh, just kidding, not plus 7. It's going to be minus 7 because it's a negative, so minus 7. And there's nothing to divide it because y is already by itself, so that is our answer. Ta-da! Yay! All right, so number 15. We're already halfway through. So if you look at number 15, it says solve for the given variable, or rearrange to isolate the given variable, which means solve for the given variable. So we want m equals, right? So here's our m on top. So we need to get rid of the v. How do you get rid of the v? Multiply by v, right? So then we get the answer of vf is equal to m. Or again, we're going to put that, or the thing that we're trying to isolate. So m is equal to vf. And since this is lowercase, I'm going to try to make it, if it is lowercase, you got to keep it as lowercase. If it is a capital, you got to keep it as a capital. Totally two different things, okay? Especially when you get into geometry, different things. So again, here it says solve for d. How do we do that? So how do we get rid of this divide by t? Just multiply by t. And so this is going to be, I'm going to just write this in alphabetical order. So VT is equal to D, or we can say D is equal to VT. It is usual, we usually do it that way. If you notice, I didn't do it here because, you know, I have lowercase first and capital letters. I'm a hypocrite, I'm sorry. All right, so we have a paper company. So a paper company is designing a new triangular stationery set. So some triangular stationery set. And the company would like the stationery set to have a specific area. So the company specified that the area of the paper must be 70 square inches. So this is our area. And the length of the base must be 8 inches. So this is our base. Okay. So we have an area of 70 and a base of 8. I always like to write these information down because it helps me later on. And the things we need to find the area of a triangle. You don't remember that. Remember, I just always think of a rectangle because I know how to find the area of a rectangle, right? And so it's going to be length times width. And then we're just going to divide that into 2, right? So it's just half of that. Right? So here's the base, here's the height, and we just want half of it. So the area is equal to 1/2 base times height, or area is equal to BH over 2. Either way is okay, right? Most people, I think, when they memorize it, they say it this way, but you can say it like this too: base times height divided by 2. Actually, I don't know which way you want it, but both ways are correct. So if we were to multiply this out, you would just get this anyways. So what we're going to do is says, create an equation or formula to find the height of the triangular paper. So that's what we're going to do. So we know the A, so we're just going to substitute that in. So this A right here is 70, which is going to be there. We know the B is 8, and so that's going to replace that. So when we write it, we're going to just write 80 is equal to, we know the B is 8, so 8H over 2. That's our formula. Now we can find out what the H is. So it says use your equation to determine the height of the paper. So I'm just going to copy this down here. So please make sure you write that equation down. If you're just doing it in your head and you're like trying to figure it out, you didn't write the equation down. You're not going to get full credit. So make sure you're writing down this equation just like this. And then so it's going to be 8H over 2. Now let's simplify. Okay, instead of like multiplying both sides by 2, let's just, because 8 goes into 2 goes into 8, right? So 80 is equal to 2 goes into 8 4 times H. And then we're just going to divide by 4. So that's going to be 20 equals H. In other words, height, I said to say the height of the paper, if I can spell paper, is 20. Remember, we're in inches, 20 inches. Which means it's a really big stationery. Like 20 inches is like a little shy of 2 feet. It's a really big paper. Just saying. All right. So I always like to write my answer in a sentence. Will you get it wrong if you don't write in a sentence? No. Is it better? Yeah, 100%. But even if you could do this right here, if you got this part, I'll be happy with that. All right. So moving on. Oh, look, it's another practice one. Let's try it out. So a paper company is designing a new okay, same thing, but now the area is going to be 36 square inches and the base must be 6. So this is the base. So again, remember the formula is A is equal to BH over 2, right? And we're just going to plug those in, right? Because we know that the area is equal to 36, base is equal to 6. So we're going to be like area is 36 is equal to 6H over 2. Now let's solve for height. So 36 is equal to 6H over 2. So we're going to simplify that. Happens to go in evenly, so that's nice. If it did not, then I would just multiply both sides by 2, then divide by the 6. Either way you do it, you'll still get the same answer. And then now we're going to just divide by 3. So H is equal to 3 goes into 36 12 times. So the height, this one's a little bit better, right? Of the paper. I keep on doing that with paper. It is 12 inches, i.e. 1 foot. About this tall. This is about one foot, at least for me. All right, moving on. Now it says we have a couple more to go, 19 through I think 27, 28. Oh, never mind, 30. All right, let's go. So write a compound inequality for the following situation. So you can get it. Okay, so remember, these are just compound inequalities. We're not solving anything. We're not doing any of that. Okay, we're just writing it down. And for your variable, you can use whatever you want. I just use X. It's up to you. So you can get a discount if you're 12 years old or younger, or older than 55 years old. In this case, I see this or here, not 12 years or younger, not that part, but the or between the younger and the older, right? That means I'm going to be using an or, right? That's going to be my conjunction. Is that what they call it? Right. So 12 years or younger. So you're 12 years or younger. So you can be 12 and you got to be younger to get this discount. Or you're going to be older than 55. So it's going to be X is greater than 55. Can you be 55? No, you have to be older than 55. If somebody's like, well, I'm 55, then the other person will say, no, but you have to be older than 55. Darn it, right? So this is our compound inequality, just like that. Number 20, the member of my household are either 5 years or younger, or 35 years or older, right? This is not me, but here. So this is going to be, again, X and 5. This is 5 years or younger. So 5 years or younger, or 35 years or older. So can you be 35 years? Yeah, because it says 35 years or older, right? So it's going to be greater than or equal to 35. Do you see the difference? Difference, okay? So take note of those, okay? Read those carefully. And then if you're here, number 21, if you're 18 years or older, but less than 60 years old, you will have to pay full price, which means this is an in-between one, right? You have to be between 18 and 60, right? Notice for this one, you had to either be in one group or the other. This is an in-between one, right? So you're going to be either 18, here's whatever you are, and then here's 60, right? So you're going to have to be 18. It's always less than like this, right? The question is, can you be 18? Yes, because if you're 18 years or older, right? But less than 60. So this one is just less than. This is what that would look like. So 18, between 18 and 60. And here, the members of my household are from 50 inches to 75 inches tall. So 50 inches is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to 75. Okay. And here we assume that they are those inches, because it says from. All right. If you said are more than 50 inches, then it wouldn't be equal to 50. But here it says from 50 inches. Who knew you needed so much English and math, right? All right, so solve the inequalities. Number 23. Same steps as before. Ooh, maybe I should bring those steps down. What do you think? I should maybe copy it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy these, because guess what? Same idea. It does not change. I'm going to copy and paste down here. I'm going to be like, put it right here. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Distribute to get rid of any parentheses. Yep, we got parentheses that we can distribute. So I'm just going to copy. I'm just going to do the distributing down here. I don't know why this is so close. It's just the way the program is. So 7 times negative 7 times negative 4v is 28v. Negative 7 times 6 is minus 42, plus 4v less than or equal to negative 170. Okay. And then next one says combine like terms of n. Ooh, we have like terms. So that is purple. So move this over here. So it's going to be, I noticed that I have the 28v and the 4v. So that's going to be 32v minus 42 less than or equal to negative 170. Okay. Then so far everything has been the same as like equations, right? So get the variables together. But I only have one variable here, so I'm good. I can skip the screen step. So then it says get rid of the plus or minus. Here we go. Let's get rid of the plus or minus. So here's plus 42 on each side. And then we're going to get 32v is less than or equal to v is less than or equal to negative 1. 28. All right, and then it's going to be, now we're going to divide by 32 on both sides. And this is going to be, now remember we divided by a positive number, so we don't have to flip the inequality. So this is going to be 120 goes into 32 times my calculator. Don't know. 4 times. U, it's an even number. Or it goes in evenly, I should say. So here is V is less than or equal to -4. So you go over here to -4. On the test, you will have to number these yourselves. So this number line will not give you any hints. And then it's going to be less than, so we're going to just put our arrow to the left. Just like that. There's my arrow. Weird looking arrow. But yeah, so make sure you show that directionality. You're not just filling in that point. Okay, and it's going to the left. Boom. I need those 2 things like that. Next one. First one. So I have parentheses, so I'm going to distribute them. So -4 plus 5 times 4, which is 20, and 5 times 4, which is -20, less than or equal to 136. All right. And then if you combine like terms, yes, we have to combine like terms. So I have the same number, like constants. So it's 20n and -4 minus 20, which is going to be -24, less than or equal to 136. I don't have to do the green part because I only have it on one side. So I'm going to go straight to the orange, which is get rid of the plus or minus. You see how it's the same theme every time? It doesn't change. It's always the same. So 20n is less than or equal to 160. Right? And then the last step, divide by 20. And then we know that n is less than or equal to 8. If you go right here, like, oh yes, 8 filled in because it is equal to, and it says less than, so we go to the left. All right, and I need that. We're gonna keep on going. Let's see what we could do without the steps, right? So again, we have, I'll try to still use the same colors. We're gonna distribute, so it's gonna be 5n, oh, just kidding, just 5 minus 5 times 8n is going to be 40n, and then minus 5 is greater than or equal to 160. Then we're going to combine like terms. My like terms is 5 minus 5, which is a 0. So all I have left is just -40n is greater than or equal to 160. Okay, and then there's nothing to add or subtract. So then I'm going to go straight to just divide. So again, right here, remember I'm dividing by a negative number, which means I do have to flip the inequality. Okay, so that is going to be n. Instead of being greater than, it is now less than or equal to, and that would be -4. Okay, so now n is less than or equal to -4. I wonder if we're going to have any greater thans. We'll see. Maybe they'll all be less thans. The odds. Right? N is less than. Okay. And then we're going to go into this last one. Again, we do have parentheses. So it's going to be 8 minus 16x, because 8 times 2 is 16, greater than -88. And notice here, we do not have any like terms to combine. So we're going to skip that. And then we don't have any x's on both sides. We're going to skip that too. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to the add and subtract. So we're going to get rid of this. Do not look before it, right? That's why we would not, because if we added 8 on both sides, what would happen? This is what, 16, this would be 16. Do you see how it does not cancel out? Yeah, we don't want that. So that's why we would not add 8, I mean. So we're going to subtract 8 on both sides, and we're going to get -16x is greater than -96. And then we're going to do our last step, which is divide by -16. Up, looks like we're going to have them all be less thans, but so x is now less than. We got to change that because we're dividing by a negative. That goes in 6 times. I'm going to say 6 times. I could be wrong, but 96 divided by 16, which is, yep, 6. There we go. And so it is an open circle this time because it is not equal to, but it is still going to the left. Okay, there we go. All right, we have 4 more problems to go. Let's see if we can do this. Same steps. Okay, seriously, the same steps. Okay, and even it's just the last 2 steps, right? Because there are no parentheses, there are no like terms, nothing. Okay, there are no x's on 2 sides and all that kind of stuff. So here we go, last 2 steps again. But remember, if you want to draw that line right here, you can. I don't normally, but I think it's useful, like a visual, to see if you're just starting it out. But we are going to add 3, not just to the right-hand side, but also to the left-hand side, right? Because it's like combining 2 things into one, right? So we're doing things at the same time, 2 things at the same time. All right, so then we're going to get 3 plus 3, which is 6, is less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 14. All right, and then from here, we're going to just now divide by 2 on all 3 sides. And then we would get 6 divided by 2, which is 3, is less than x, which is less than or equal to 7. This is our answer. This is what we want. And if you notice right here, we don't have a number line, so we're going to kind of do one. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And we know, I'm going to just draw a point at 3 and 7. We know at 3 is going to be open because there's no equal sign. And the 7 is going to be closed because it is an equal sign there. There is an equal sign there. Just like that. There we go. Number 28, again, I'm going to just use the little, I'll just draw a little light dotted line here. And then we're going to just subtract 1 on all 3 sides. And we're going to get -6 is less than or equal to 3x, which is less than or equal to 15. And then we're going to just, divide by 3 on all 3 sides because we got to get rid of the multiply divide last. And these, yes. And so this can be -2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 5. So again, our number line, we start at -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 5. And so at -2 and at 5, they're both going to be closed because they're both equal to. And be like, boom, done. It's all that stuff in the middle. So any of these numbers will work. All right, last 2. This is literally just doing 2 separate inequalities and then putting an or in between them. That's literally all we're doing. So here we're gonna, if you look on the left-hand side, +3 + 3, and we're gonna get 4x is greater than 12. And then we're gonna be like, ooh, I used the wrong color for that. What? There we go. And then now we're going to divide by 4, and we're dividing by positive numbers, so we don't have to switch anything. So x is greater than 3. Ooh, we finally get a greater than. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to be like, okay, get rid of the -4, so +4 on both sides. And we get -5x is greater than or equal to 20. And then we're going to divide by -5. So which means that we're going to have x. Now we got to flip that inequality is less than or equal to -4. And so we have our 2 inequalities. We're just going to put an or there. We need to put that in there because if they start out with an or, we got to end up with an or. See what I'm saying? So when we do our inequality, here's my -4 is right here. Here's my 0. Here's my 3. And do a little shortcut there. And so again, at 3 and 4, we have our points. -4 is going to be closed. It's going to go to the left. 3 is going to be open and go to the right because x is greater than 3. All right. And our last problem here, again, we are going to just treat these as 2 separate inequalities because guess what? They are. Now we're going to get -2x is greater than 4. Then we're going to divide both sides by -2. So we got x is less than, because we're dividing by negative, less than -2. And then we have the next one here. Add 6 to both sides. And we get 3x is greater than, that's 0. That's still fine. So now I'm going to just divide by 3. I don't have to change the inequality because I did not divide by a negative. So x is greater than 0 because 0 divided by 3 is 0. So we're just going to put that or there. So let's see what this looks like. So this is going to be at -2. Here's -1, here's 0. So those are both open because there's no equal to sign there. It says x is less than -2. And here x is greater than -2 or greater than 0. And that would be our graph. All right. I would go over anything that you don't understand or you want to look over again. And I'll see you guys later. Hope it helps. Do well. Bye-bye.